Sharing your story in a book can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 ways to overcome the fear of telling your story. Let's get into it. Hey, it's Allison, Denise, author, brand strategist for women in ministry, and today I'm going to talk to you about 3 things that you can do to overcome your fear of telling your story in a book. The first way to bust through the fear of telling your story is to tell your own story. And by this, I mean, don't tell the stories of other people in your story. For example, when I tell my story of being wrongfully terminated from my job 1 week after giving birth to my 3rd child, I could talk about them. I could talk about what they did and how they did things. But instead of telling their story, I'm going to tell my story. My story, I speak from an first-person perspective. I use I statements instead of them, they, she, he. I use I statements to tell the story from my perspective. How did it make me feel? How did I experience the things that they did? What did I do as a result of their action? Instead of telling their story, I tell my own. And the benefit of this, how it reduces the fear of telling your story, is that you're just simply telling your truth. You are sharing the experience from your point of view and how you experienced it. There's no shame in that, and there's nothing to fear when you are simply telling the version of the story that you experienced, when you are sharing your truth of the matter. Which leads me to the second way that you can bust through the fear of sharing your story is to speak the truth in love. So while we don't want to tell their story and tell it from a 3rd person point of view, we do want to tell what happened, and we want to tell the truth. Sometimes the things that we experience in life can be shameful, embarrassing, they're painful. Sometimes people do things in life that are not pleasant, that leave them at risk for being judged by others. And so we don't have any control over the judgment that our readers have when they read our story. What we do have control over is how we share the truth of our experience. Speaking the truth in love means to cover the experience in love. To understand what this really means, we should examine what love is. Let's go to the word and see how God describes love. Love endures long and is patient and kind. Love never is envious, nor boils over with jealousy. It is not boastful or vainglorious. It does not display itself haughtily. It is not conceited, arrogant, and inflated with pride. It is not rude, unmannerly, and does not act unbecomingly. Love, God's love in us, does not insist on its own right or its own way, for it is not self-seeking. It is not touchy or fretful or resentful. It takes no account of the evil done to it. It pays no attention to a suffered wrong. It does not rejoice at injustice and unrighteousness, but rejoices when right and truth prevail. Love bears up under anything and everything that comes, and is ever ready to believe the best of every person. Its hopes are fadeless under all circumstances, and it endures everything without weakening. Love never fails, never fades out, or becomes obsolete, or comes to an end. When we are telling our story, when we are speaking the truth in love, we are telling our truth of our experiences within the light of the love that God describes in 1 Corinthians 13. When writing your story, you should not be writing from a place of resentment or pain. You should be writing from a place of having overcome. When we share the truth of our experiences, we should not be speaking from places that sound conceited or rude, that are unbecoming of love. They should not be self-seeking. The place that we write from should not be fretful or resentful. It should not be rejoicing at injustice. You really should be writing from a place of power, a place that says that you have healed and you have overcome the situation, and now you wish to inspire someone else as a result. Which brings me to my 3rd and final point. The 3rd way that you can overcome the fear of telling your story is by writing yourself as the victor and not the victim. Here's an example. When I think about telling the story of my wrongful termination, if I'm sharing from a place of anger, because I was very much angry, if I'm sharing from a place of hurt because I was very much hurt, if I'm still feeling those things and writing in such a way and my anger and hurt is pouring onto the page, the person reading that book will pick up on those emotions. That's not what we want to share. Instead of telling my story from the position of pain, I tell my story from the position of power. I tell the story that, yes, this happened to me and this is how it made me feel. And because I felt this way, I took these specific actions. And when I took these actions, partnered with God, I was able to transform my life. And what they meant for evil, God turned it around for good. When we share our transformational stories, we should be coming from that point of view. I write myself as the victor. I say that it pained me. It troubled me that a Christian establishment would treat me the way it did. I say that I was angry, that they would throw me out like trash. And 1 week after I'd given birth to a 27-week preemie baby with no income and leaving me without insurance. I would say that these things happened to me. And as a result of how I felt in that moment, I said to God, I never wanted to have to work for another person if I could help it. And God spoke back to me and he told me, here's what we're gonna do. And then I took God's plan and I ran with it. And when I ran with that plan, God helped me to multiply it. And now I stand before you, a Christian teacher, licensed and ordained minister, helping women in ministry write and self-publish books, helping us grow influential author brands so that we can advance the kingdom. Would I have accomplished the things that I have accomplished had I still been on that job? I don't know. I don't think so though. The point of the matter is, when I share this story, I don't share it from my pain. I don't share it from my anger and talk about they did this to me, they this and they that. I use I statements. I share how it was for me. I share the truth of my experience. I speak the truth in love, and I write myself as the victor because I am victorious. This is where the inspiration comes in. And when you look at your story from that perspective, there is no fear in that. There is no fear in love. Perfect love casts out fear. And so there should be no fear in sharing your story when you are speaking your truth in love and writing yourself as the victor that you are. Did any of this resonate with you? Drop in the comments below which ones did. How did this make you feel, and do you feel encouraged now to share your story? I want to hear from you. And if this was inspiring, I want you to like this video and share it out with another author in ministry or an aspiring author in ministry. And if you want to hear more videos about writing, self-publishing, or ministry, or being an author in ministry, subscribe to my channel and check out the other videos I have for you. I hope this has been insightful, and I will talk to you again soon. Ciao for now. Bye.